Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your host, Jay, and we are live once again here in our studios from Inside Out. And this is another open mic night where we're going to be talking about very important things about what's going down right now, currently inside of our prisons. With that said, let's get into it. Welcome back, everybody, to another Friday's Man's Night. I'm your host, Jay. Thank you guys so much for being here. I do very much appreciate it. And before I even get started with this podcast tonight and all the important information that we got to unpack tonight, please, ladies and gentlemen, our co-host, Tammy, to the show. Welcome, Tammy. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. We made it to another Friday, as you can see, and man, it's kind of nice. It's I look forward to the weekend sometimes because the weeks are just brutal sometimes, if that makes any sense. so I'm glad to have glad the weekend's here, so we can all take a little bit of a breather and a break, if you will. But some of us don't get those times off, if you know what I mean. So, but anyways, we got some
Right.
important information, whatnot, to unpack tonight, if you will. And I understand, according to you, we have some important information that you want to go through. So I'm going to give you the floor here in just a second. But before we do, my understanding, according to what is it, a fake Facebook post, if I'm not mistaken, that there is no heat in one of the prisons in Texas. Is this true, Tammy, by chance?
Yeah, there are some that are still having issues. We have been fighting diligently, all of the advocates. There were several. Now we're down to just a few, but one is
Okay.
one too many. One cell without heat is one too many
Sure.
in my
I
eyes.
no, I
Period.
agree.
One inmate without a blanket, without a mattress, without a jacket that they're supposed to get in the winter, their coat, their jacket, whatever
Okay.
they want to call it,
Yeah,
is
that's
one too many. There are
yeah,
no
that
excuses. That's a basic human
absolutely.
necessity.
And I just wanted to let everybody know, on the viewers that are watching, that if you don't know this, you will tonight. And again, the information that you're going to be hearing and seeing tonight is very crucial. So my suggestion from me and Tammy is to make sure that you guys find a way to take notes, or if you miss anything, the replay will be posted too. But I'm saying, for your own records and whatnot, please take note with the information tonight, so it'll be helpful. So this kind of stuff can stop with the correct things that we're supposed to do when it comes to Eighth Amendment and litigation cases and so forth. So with that said, welcome in, everybody. I see you all in here. We got Tin Man, we got Bert, we got Vicky, we have, who else is in here? For right now, looks like that's it. I do acknowledge you guys. I see you guys, but we got a lot of information to unpack tonight, guys. So please bear with us. But before I start with my little information and whatnot, Tammy, I guess you have some important information, so I'm going to give you the floor and explain a few things, and then we'll go from there. But again, welcome to the show, Tammy, and thanks for your help.
You're welcome. So we had a lot of viewers that had some questions concerning Jim's story and his brother's story. He was packing in probably 20, anywhere from 10 to 20 years worth of information in a 45-minute window. So that makes it very, very hard for people to understand the complexities, not only of the case, but how our judicial system works in every state. It's not just Texas or Arkansas or Florida or Kansas or in the other states. Is a general rule. So I want to go
Go
over a
ahead.
couple of things. So here's one. And you guys, I would pay very close attention to the stuff that Texas Mom
Yes.
is putting up. You can get some very crucial information, even if you're not in Texas. You can learn a wealth of information from other
Yes.
advocates and other
Yes. I missed their
protesters.
live that they did not too long ago, a couple days ago, but I did get in there and watch replay, and I did get in there and reply. So I'm aware of what they're doing, and I appreciate every single one of them. So I do share their stuff as much as I can.
Yeah, there's a lot of information. As the Texas Transparency Project is not necessarily connected, but what the person that runs that is connected to
Mhm.
TDCJ
Okay.
Troll, which is our page
Okay.
that comes out. It's a group that comes out that talks about the way not only the officers are treated, but it shows complete um, officers that are arrested for doing the things they're not supposed to be doing in there, and wardens and the head honchos, just everything, even the civilian staff that's hired to come in. They show their mug shots, their charges, everything. So there's a lot, or if there's an
Yeah.
unaliving or an incident, either at the hands of other prisoners or amongst them, or to
Hmm.
self harm, they report everything on
Yes.
there. So that helps. And so anyway, here's the thing. I want to make this very, very clear. And Jay and I may have to do another show on it if Jay's available to do that. Plea bargaining.
Yes.
Let me explain something to
God,
everyone.
there's so much fake news about that.
The fact that Jim's brother took a plea bargain killed his
Yeah.
case, because here's the thing. When you take a plea bargain, if somebody comes along later and exonerates you and says, hey, I did the crime, it was me, it was me, it was me, or DNA comes along. DNA does not happen overnight, folks. Sometimes it takes up to 2 years for the DNA to come back. It's a very lengthy process. TV and movies have ruined our
Oh, I
thinking
agree.
and logic
I
when it
agree.
comes to
Mhm.
how cases are handled. So nothing happens like it happens on TV,
Mhm.
hardly any of it, really,
Hey,
to
Texas
be
Mom, thank
honest.
you for being here.
So if we appreciate you so much, Tanya. So here's the thing: if your loved one or someone's loved one pleads
Mhm.
guilty, first of all of the how they go about getting people to plea. Some people
Joke.
come in there, they may have a drinking problem, they may have a drug problem, may have mental health issues, so they have them on medication. First of all, if they are on medication when they sign that plea agreement, then it comes into doubt if they were in the capacity, the mental capacity to sign a plea agreement.
Mhm.
I'm going to give a good example. My husband, for example, he does not remember 4 months of his life in the county jail. And he was wheelchair bound at one point, and something was across the lens of the video when I would do video visits with him. I could not see him in person. So I have no
Hi,
idea
boss.
what was
The
done to
boss is in
him.
the house. Behave, guys. No, I'm kidding.
Hi, boss.
Just kidding. Go ahead, Tammy. It's all yours.
We like the boss. It's all right. She's kind of a favorite around here. Um, so the thing is, we cannot assume that a person is in their
Right.
right state of mind when they take a plea deal. They terrify you, they coerce you, they tell you lies. It's kind of like a police
Yes.
interrogation. That's what I
Yes.
would put it akin to. And then the other problem is that we have. That's just one box of this equation. The other problem is, like I said, Marcellus Williams, the show
Wow.
we did on him.
Orphan finally got Orphan
If
got snow on
somebody
the
else,
ground for the said first snow on the ground in Tennessee. Wow. It's
oh yeah, oh yeah. And so we when we are looking at these cases, Marcellus Williams is a prime example. If there was evidence in his case, and there was quite a bit. Somebody came forward and said that they
Mhm.
lied and they actually did the crime. He was still put
Mhm.
unalived at the
Mhm.
hands of the state. So just know that there are a lot more innocent people in there than we will ever know. I mean, Innocence Project was formed based on
Yes,
these things,
and
these
keep in mind,
equations.
yeah,
And,
and keep in
and
mind they're overwhelmed right now. Absolutely overwhelmed. They can't take on any more cases.
yeah, and it's like getting a lottery ticket if
Yeah.
they take your case. 35%, they say 35% of incarcerated
Mhm.
people, and this is across the nation,
Mhm.
35% is are
Mhm.
innocent. That's overwhelming. That's just their finding. I think it's probably much higher, to be honest.
Tin,
And
Tin
I
Man
don't
said
think
14 inches of snow here. That's
14 inches
crazy.
of snow.
Wow. You guys got a lot.
Yeah, New Mexico got like where I used to live, where I grew up, they
That's
got like
crazy.
8, you know. It's nuts, you know. It's wintertime though, and we know that this is I kind of like it. It's pretty to look at, but I don't want to
Yeah.
live in it.
Most
I'm
people
good.
can't drive in it. You'd be amazed.
I'm good. Yeah. Oh no, I drove in it for
Yeah.
over 10 years. And I don't like to drive in it in Texas over here down where I'm at because they're
Welcome in,
absolutely
Cynthia.
clueless. If it snows, if it snows anywhere in central Texas down, I don't want to be on the roads because people do not know how to
Right.
navigate in the snow.
Uh,
So basically, just to wrap it up, guys, with his case in particular, Jim and Gerald's, there was a lot of things, a lot of corruption that went on um, in both
mhm.
Oklahoma,
Mhm.
Arkansas, and Texas, and they had him sign a plea deal under some very, very heavy duty narcotic medication, which not a
Right.
good idea. They didn't have a lot of the evidence wasn't even in, but they were telling him it was. So he signed it under duress, basically. So, I know there's one person that knows the truth. Well, there's always
Mhm.
two people that know the truth. The person that did it and God is how I see it. Now, that's just my opinion. Not everybody has to believe what I believe.
Right.
That's mine. But just understand the complexities of how cases work and that we do not you really don't have a fair shot in our
No.
court system
Well,
as
you
it's set up
remember the
now.
old saying, or it's actually not really an old saying. It's actually a real truth sentence. You know how that used to be where you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law? It's the other way around. Uh, so,
Exactly. And
yeah.
that's the whole thing. We are basically, I'm going to call it like I see it.
Mhm.
We're brainwashed into
Mhm.
believing that we're going to be given a lawyer
Mhm.
that's competent. That's an absolute joke because the
Mhm.
lawyer that works for um, the defendant side, supposed to, has their own agenda. And they actually work for the state. They're being paid by the
Mhm.
state or county. And they're going to do what best benefits their calendar.
Um,
They have private clients that they work for that you're
right.
actually getting paid for. They're not going to put your case at the top
Mhm.
of their list. It's
Uh,
not going to happen.
Tammy, if I can break in real
And
quick, I'm sorry, I have to do this, but Lou, I can't say her last name. I'm suck at names, so apologize if I beat you up. Yeah,
Alderete,
read the comment there, and maybe you can answer that question for her. She's asking a question. I'm going to just give it to you.
is there something that can be done with what you mentioned about signature of plea deal while on medication? Can a case be opened or reviewed after a plea deal has signed and they are already on
There
TDCJ?
you go.
Yes.
Thank you.
One of the biggest things that you can do, and you can read a lot about it. I'm not saying go to this attorney in particular. I will pull him up Lou, and I will put his link in the chat. They have like a pamphlet of how to do a writ of habeas corpus, but you can get a lot of answers off of his channel. He will answer your questions. He is an appeals attorney and a writ of habeas corpus attorney, and he is absolutely he has absolutely got a lot of information. I'm not saying to go. I mean, most of us don't have
I don't either.
I don't have money. Most of us loved ones on the outside, we don't have the money to get our loved ones out. There are ways. I'm working on ways. I'm trying. If I can ever get my nonprofit up and get some grants going, I'm going to start pushing churches and unity to get a fund for prisoners to get representation that they deserve. And I'm going to ask them to start reviewing cases, because this crap of us trying to dig and have unalive ourselves to come up with money to get our loved ones out of this. I know I probably make a lot of people angry, and I really don't care. I gotta be honest.
Nothing wrong with that.
I really don't. In a slavery-based system that was created to enslave people. Yeah, they got programs here, they got programs there. My firsthand knowledge with my loved one and some of the people he's come along in the system. My loved one was never affiliated. I don't know that side of the system in that wheelhouse. But I will tell you, the only programs he's been working since he's been in there are the ones that he's done self. And the only attempt at a program was they sat him down in front of a TV monitor, told him, watch this. And they said, oh, you're sober, you're good, and you're doing the right thing. You don't need to come in here anymore. You're certified. That is not rehabilitation, folks. That is not getting to the root of the problems that cause them to maybe be with a toxic person that got them into the mess they're in. We all have issues. If they can't just walk out of their cell and go, hey, I really feel like I need to talk to the psychiatrist today and get my meds adjusted. I really feel like I need to talk to a counselor right now because I feel like I'm going to harm myself. You know what? They don't give a rat's patoot, 90%. And I'm coming from a place where my first husband was a CO. I know what I'm talking about. I know the other flip side of this whole thing. And let me tell you, it is not pretty. I know there are a few good COs. I know there are a few wardens, but they are on an uphill battle against a system that was created to keep people in, to get them to come back so that they can keep their wheels cranking and working for these corporations to make money.
Oh, absolutely.
And anybody that doesn't know that, man, I urge you to research the history of prisons. Because it was founded to get people enslaved into the system to create legal slavery. And then corporations, cotton farms, things like that, came in and rented labor from the prisons. And guess what? Now the prisons have gotten smart about it. The states, they're like, well, why are we just helping these corporations? Let's do this. Let's make our own shoes. Let's make our own food. Let's make our own uniforms. Let's make our own.
Imagine that.
And jackets. So now they're making hand over fist, and they want to act like the taxpayers are putting the bill for all that. They're making money off of all of us.
Just like the fact that you can't have 2 blankets, you're only allowed 1. But wait a minute, we paid for those damn blankets. Give them to them. They're ours, not yours anyways, DOC. So why do you get to call the shots on them?
And we have a surplus in Texas, and we can't get the heat working, and we can't get the AC working. But yet we train inmates in heating, and we teach them HVAC. We teach them electrical. We teach them plumbing. I can't tell you how many times I just get sick thinking about them thinking about how things are made and created, and these guys are super smart. These
Well, they're
men and
gifted. A
women
lot of them are
that are
gifted.
incarcerated are so damn smart.
Absolutely. A lot of them are gifted. They have a lot of talents just sitting there wasting, you know,
Yep.
and they don't let them really put their talents to good use. They just want them to sit in there and rot and you know, bow down to their uncorrupt ways in there. So yeah, absolutely. And of course, Ashleen's in here. Ashleen, I didn't mean to say hi to you earlier, but if I did, and I apologize. Anyways, welcome in, Ashleen. Thank you so much for being here. She said, "Truth, Jay." Absolutely. It's all about the truth. And of course, what Tammy's been saying since the get-go of the start of this podcast is absolutely 100% fire and truth. You know, so look, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what we can see, even though we're not seeing a lot of it that's going on inside of our prisons. It's a no-brainer. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry, guys. I think it was last year, if not this year, $400 billion. Write it down if you need to. It's $400 billion of our tax dollars came into the system this year or last year. That's ridiculous. That's a lot of money. And then for DOC to sit there and say things like, oh, it's not in our budget, we can't afford this, you get one blanket this, one blanket that. Yeah, I call BS. Okay, it's in the budget, you have it. So where's the profits? Where's all that money going if they don't have it in the budget? Well, I can guarantee you it's going in somebody's pocket, not what it's supposed to go for initially. And that's where I stand.
Okay, so there was, I want to talk about this, and anybody that has an in, I encourage you, please contact me if you can find a way to find out this information, because I want to blast it all over God's creation and write every senator and representative I can get my hands to and raise 10 shades of hell. So the Brian Collier, I don't even like to say his name. Brian Collier, the head of TDCJ. He's the head honcho, the big numero uno. Okay. His car is allegedly, I'm going to say the word allegedly, parked at a state hospital where they keep prisoners and you know, normal people, just free world people. I want to say normal, but free world people can go in there and be seen as well. His car is parked there while he's out on a cruise out of Galveston. And the location of this hospital is in Galveston. I didn't know that that our tax dollars provided valet service to the head of TDCJ.
Are you surprised?
So if anybody can get the plate number and get it run to find out that he does legitimately own that vehicle, and he is legitimately out on a cruise and his car's sitting in the parking lot, I want answers as to why.
Yeah, imagine that. Yeah.
If I can't go park there for free and have my shit not towed, why isn't his?
Yeah. See,
I am all about equality. Let's be equal across the board. I'm not asking for any more or less. Let's just be side by side.
Again, Tammy, and for all the viewers who are watching, and thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Love and respect you all. Just keep in mind, DOC and the person that you just mentioned, Tammy, all think that they're above the law. Every single one of them. Exactly. And that's going to come to an end real quick because it's going to take a village such as this, a family, a bunch of advocates to get that to stop. So, and Cynthia said he's a clown. Absolutely. So there's proof right there.
Well, I'm going to say this. Like, I would love to see some. This is my opinionated night, I guess. I would love to see some people that are really good with, I don't want to call them by their names, but really good with computers to open some closet doors and put the truth out there.
Wouldn't that be some,
behind their closet? Can you imagine if any of that ever happened? You know,
what a podcast that would be, right, Tammy? Man.
Oh God, I would be like lawyered up to the nines, and I would be like, okay, I just want to let y'all know this is where I got this information, but I'm reporting it, so I'm protected under the free speech. But these are all allegations, and I'm putting it out there, and this is what it is, and just put it out there. Because let me tell you something. I can imagine how many of them would be behind bars.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine the scoop and all the dark information we can muster up. Oh my gosh.
Tanya and Ashley, I may need some bail money. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start digging into some
Scary.
stuff. I am
It's
so
scary,
fed up
absolutely.
with the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over it. I am so over
Yeah.
it. But guys, I really do try to do my due diligence. I'm not an attorney. I've just had a lot of life experience that has led me to learn things, and I'm able to therefore go out and help other people, and I'm blessed that
Mm-hmm.
way. And I thank God for that every day.
Ashley goes, I have bail fund. Awesome. Well, he's got one person in here that that has it. Stand by. Much kudos and respect to you, Ashley, on that. Absolutely, keep it because we might need it. Anyways,
yeah, because I have a judge sitting in Denton County that I want to unseat off the bench. If you kind of feel me on that one,
yeah.
I don't do very well. Stop it. I don't do very well to judges who get pulled out on Facebook being thanked for being the legal team of a plaintiff under the state side of the fence. That just kind of seems kind of crooked to me.
Yeah. And Texas Mom just wrote in the chat right here real quick before I get into the other data, guys. Just bear with us. We have a lot to talk and discuss tonight, so just please bear with us. Have some patience with us. Anyways, Texas Mom said this. In October 2024, it was reported Brian Kohler makes $299K a year. Imagine that. Must be nice. And Bert said, wow. Yeah, I agree. Wow is understatement. And then Bert said, who is he, Texas Mom? And then Texas Mom put a link in here, guys. You hope you can see it. Save it for later use. Share it if you have to. That's his salary, I guess. Thank you, Texas Mom, for sharing that. Appreciate you over there. And then Shelly said, wow, that's ridiculous. He makes that much. Yeah, and we're all out here struggling and scraping by and hard to put food on the table, if you get my drift. Must be nice.
This girl here makes $32,000. So hey, I'm not even like mine. I'm cross-eyed at that.
Texas Mom said, "Wait until next week when I get paid." LOL. That's awesome. Tim Man said, "Does I hope that enlightened of Trump's conviction?" Yeah, I know. I'm going to say something about that too. They realize that felons have just as much rights to the Second Amendment as any other American. Absolutely. This is going to be a major milestone and change. As you guys know, not to get political, Trump became a felon, and he's our first felony president, or soon will be. I think that's awesome. More hope and whatnot for us felons. I love it. Good for him. Anyways, Orvanny said, I think having an attorney in this group would help us because the justice system has a language of its own. Yes, I agree. It's all big scientific words, which I don't really have a lot of respect for those big scientific words. Just be realistic and be real and put it out there truthful. But they got to make all these big scientific words that sound smart and whatnot. But I get it. I understand. Anyways, moving down the chat, you guys, I appreciate every single one of you guys being in here. You guys are all correct and spot on tonight. But as you guys know, I have a certain amount of information I wanted to distill tonight, or basically disseminate, if you will, to get out there for this heat problem or no heat problem we're having in Texas prisons. And of course, not just Texas prisons. I want to make sure and clear up the confusion, if there is any, to let you know wherever this winter storm hit and wherever the cold weather is hitting, Midwest, up north, Texas, you name it, it went as far as down Florida, but it didn't get as cold as some of you all know. So in any event, if the cold weather has hit your Locked Up Loans prison, this information is for you guys. And before I go in any further, I'm going to do what is called share screen, as you guys know. And I'm going to put up some information that I believe visual is more important than just verbally or verbal. So I'm going to show you guys something if you don't know this information already. This is for people that don't know. All right, so just bear with me on that. Here it is. I hope you guys can see this. I zoomed in as best I could without getting, blurry. This is the 8th Amendment. This is what it stands for you guys out there that don't know. And this is for your locked up loved ones in the states that, endured this winter storm and more winter storms to come. The Eighth Amendment to the Constitution says this: excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Pay attention to that last portion right there of that Eighth Amendment. Nor cruel and unusual punishments, with an S, inflicted. I hope you guys understand what I'm getting at here. All right? Because we're going to be talking about this and why this is so important, and why this right here alone on your screen will help you with your litigation case if you decide to start one. You guys, does that make sense to you guys? So I'm going to come back to the studio. I want you guys to make sure that you take notes if need be, or if you miss this information that I'm going to be telling you guys here tonight, then the other good news is the replay will be posted later after this show is over, so you won't miss anything. All right. Always make sure that you take notes if need be, and take this information as truthful and 100% as possible. Now, again, if I'm wrong in any way, shape, or form, call me out on it. I'll accept the mistake. We're humans. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect in any of this. So again, all advice, take it as you need to, use it as you need to, or if you don't think it's accurate or correct, go study it or get your advice from somebody else or off of Google or whatever you need to do. But tonight, I'm telling you what I know and what I've experienced and went through. So with that, again, all prisons and whatnot are different. Always keep that in mind too. I'm not talking about a specific one. When I say prisons, that means basically all of them. All right, so you guys saw that. Let's get back to the share screen now again, real quick, guys. And I'm going to show you what I need you guys to pay attention to. And here it is. Oops, wrong one. My bad. All right. So what you see on the screen is what is known as the 1983 42 USC 1983 complaint packet, or packet that you can get from your law library in prison. This goes for your locked up loved ones that are dealing with no heat and whatnot inside of our prisons. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Now, this one is just a preview or an example. They come in different forms, different words, different sentences, but it's the same thing in a certain degree. All right. Every one of these forms are kind of different in a sense. So what you see here could be looking different at your law library. Nonetheless, it's all the same. But it's called, again, for the record, a 42 USC 1983 complaint packet, or basically a civil rights packet that you need to file, again, guys, in order for your lawsuit to be absolutely 100% fruitful. This is what it looks like. Okay. Again, you can get this downloaded here if you want to and have it sent into your locked up loved one. It usually should cost you nothing, but if it costs you something, it might be like what, $2, $3. I mean, it's not that expensive, guys. Nonetheless, there it is. All right. Now I want you guys to understand what I'm showing you guys here tonight, because it's very crucial and important that we get this out there. As you guys know, the heat-related issues with no heat inside of our prisons, especially Texas, as you guys know, is going on right now. A lot of our locked up loved ones are freezing. Now, make no mistake about it, some prisons sell what they call thermal underwear or thermals on commissary. Some prisons don't sell it. So you're kind of shit out of luck, if you know what I mean. And of course, you have to understand that if you can't get thermals, then obviously then the prison has to accommodate, either turn up the heat, right, or give you an extra blanket, or I think they have coats. Some prisons have coats, some have beanies, but nonetheless, they still freeze. Now, there's always going to be that one inmate that's always cold, like me. I'm like right now, I have my heater on. But like I said, the heat is set at a certain temp in a lot of these prisons. And here's why. I did a video on this not too long ago, if this makes any sense to you guys. Our prisons kind of act like hospitals. Hospitals also, believe it or not, have their temperature set at a certain temp range, and they can't go any higher on it, and they technically can't go any lower on it, if that makes any sense. All right. So And the reason behind that is because of the germs. Yes, correct. Prisons and jails have germs just as much as the hospitals do. So they can't really toy around with the temperature there because then it just breeds.
Wait,
Huh?
wait. Let me interrupt that. I call BS on it in Texas because if they're so concerned about germs going around in the summer months,
Yeah.
yeah, it is germ season. We have outbursts of tuberculosis outbreaks. Sorry, of tuberculosis. So I know clinically everything you're saying is 100% spot on
Mhm.
because I worked in a
Mhm.
hospital. But what I am going to say is they could give a rat's patoot. That's an excuse for
Right.
them.
No. I was just going by.
DOC is their excuse.
Right. No, absolutely. And I appreciate that, Tammy. Thank you very much. That's why you're here, because again, I don't give out false information. At least I try not to, for this type of stuff. So I want to make sure everybody knows their rights and how they can file a lawsuit when it comes to no heat, because again, it
Correct.
follows under the Eighth Amendment. But thank you, Tammy.
And if we could get a bunch of us together, guys, like Lioness did, and I don't know if Ashleen's still in here, but Texas Cure did, and took them to task by filing class action suits, that is the way to change these issues.
Mhm.
And that is any state in the union,
Mhm.
guys. That is any
Mhm.
state. What Jay is telling you guys is correct. So if we can get this
Yeah.
going, we need to. I'm trying to post stuff as we go
Yeah.
of the different formats and stuff,
And,
guys.
right. And
So you'll have it come back.
correct. And again, Tammy, thank you so much for putting that out there. I might have not deliberately, but maybe I skipped that part. But nonetheless, I'm just doing a brief explanation.
No. You're
Okay.
good. They're
All right.
seeing
Thank
it.
you. I appreciate you. With that being said, again, guys, it's a 1983 USC 42 USC 1983 packet. You got to get that filed or your lawsuit's going to fail under that situation. Again, before I go any further, though, every prison, at least I know mine did, and I'm sure other prisons have it. But again, I didn't do time in Texas. So some people that know Texas can also come in here and tell me if I'm right or not. But anyways, most prisons, a majority of them anyways, have what they call the grievance system. I did a video on that not too long ago too, describing the quote unquote grievance system, how that whole thing works. I want you guys to understand, if you don't get that done either for your locked up loved one, then your lawsuit won't be very positive in some form or fashion. All right. So always remember that. And again, you cannot start with just one, file that one, and be done with it. Because again, as you know, DOC, they like to lie. They like to make up stories or excuses and so forth and yada, yada. These grievances get lost. I've seen a DOC officer rip it up, toss in the garbage. Okay, whatever.
That's kind of what I would like to take. I wish we could file a lawsuit over the grievance system alone and get all the people that have family members that have been beaten, thrown in solitary confinement.
Yeah, no, I agree. But
amounts of time,
right,
and all of that, because how are you going to sit there and tell us that we have to follow this grievance procedure? First of all, I'm going to tell TDCJ and any other state something right now. I'm not friggin' incarcerated. I don't have to follow their shit, period. I will follow what I want to do as a citizen and a taxpayer of the United States of America.
Correct.
When my husband was in the Army, I didn't have to follow their protocol. He did. He was in uniform. And I told that to a 3-star general. You think I'm scared of TDCJ?
No, and that's the thing. We don't want anybody to be scared of any of these guys, because if you are, then nothing gets done.
But they are, because they get beaten and
I know.
hurt.
Intimidation works. Retaliation is a major thing. I get it.
The grievance process is
it is, but that's part of the.
And we should go after that.
And again, keep in mind, guys, if we don't do that, though, like it's by the book, like step by step, then your lawsuit won't work unless you get yourself an attorney on the outs. And I'll explain how that works here in a minute. But Orphan Annie, real quick before I continue, Orphan Annie asked, how much time do you got, Jay? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about there with all due respect, Orphan. I finished my time. I'm done. I'm not even on paper. I've been off paper or probation. I got off in 2013. So if that makes any sense there, I hope it does anyways. Anyways, I've been off since 2013. My case is 15 years old. I'm basically done with everything, done and free. I hope I've answered your question. And I see your guys' comments in here. And like Ashleen said, no grievances equals no complaint. Absolutely. So it's got to be done, whether we like it or don't like it. And it is a big failure.
So, okay, Ashleen and Jay, I'm going to put this question to you, and I want you guys to put in the answer if you can. Respectfully, I love you both, and I love everything you do. People that put in grievances, that all of a sudden there's no grievance because the officer threw it the hell away.
Mhm.
What recourse do you have when you want to file a lawsuit at that point then?
And that's for me? Okay.
Yep. What do they do there?
Okay. Well, again, from my experience and what I did, and it happened, I've seen it right there in front of my face when I did time. Somebody did a grievance, turned it in, and totally got ignored. Then I said, well, and I asked the same question that I got it. You just asked me, Tammy. I said, what do you do now that it got ignored? I have to write another one. Oh, okay. Do it again. Yep. Okay. You get ignored again. Yep. I have to write another one. You got to keep doing it until it does finally get answered. It's a tedious process, but you have to get that part done or you're not going to be successful in your lawsuit. Thank you, Tammy, for your question. All right. Let's see here. Somebody asked, where did it go? Oh, right here. My bad. Do prisoners have access to computers? Not the internet, but they have computers in the law library. In some circumstances, they can go in there and use the computers and look up cases, look up case law, print out stuff, that type of thing. But again, when it comes to computers and online activity, absolutely not.
Tin Man, we don't get carbon copies in TDCJ. They're called, they do what's called an I-60, which my husband did, and he never got answers back on them. He finally got to a different wing, and when he filed those I-60s, and those were given back. But in some instances, what the guards will do when they give them the slip to the guard, say you're an inmate, that you're in a single cell situation, that you're only let out by a guard.
Welcome, Bugatti Girl.
When you have that situation, you have to hand the I-60 to the guard.
Yeah.
Now, me, I keep a paper trail on the outside. The minute that he writes that I-60, I contact people at his unit, say the family liaison, and then I CC other people in that email so that they know that it's not just me that's aware of that my husband put in an I-60, that somebody else is aware. Right. And so that there's more than one set of eyes on the situation.
Correct. And that's where I stand in it. And that's very important information. Thank you very much, Tammy, for that. But again, to recap real quick, I know there's more information I got to get across here, guys, to you guys, and take notes if need be. Again, just bear with me. There's a lot to really talk about here tonight. Very important podcast tonight. So anyways, with all of that information that you just heard tonight, again, you cannot go any further with your lawsuit unless you file the grievances, and your locked up loved one has to do all of this. If your locked up loved one is not familiar, if you will, with the law or how things work, the 1983 packet and all that fun jazz, tell him or her to find themselves a legal beagle or what is called a jailhouse lawyer inside of our prisons. They will do it for a little bit of commissary, maybe a couple phone calls or stamps or something along those lines for a small payment for the work that they're going to do because they're good at it. Don't underestimate these legal beagles. They know exactly what's up. My sister's one herself, and they're really good at what they do. So always understand that. And again, somebody asked about, do they have computers in the prisons? They do, but they're not available for the internet. They're just able to do copies and look up case law stuff. I hope that helped on there. Anyways, with that, once you file your paperwork, make copies of everything that you can and have. Your locked up loved ones on the outs can also help you make copies and whatnot. Also, if they do not have a 1983 packet in your law library for whatever the lame ass reason is, have your locked up loved ones mail you a copy in it. You can get it mailed in. All right. It's available for the public out here just as much as it should be available for your locked up loved one inside our prisons. All right.
Any legal documentation can be mailed to your loved one at their unit to their law library. Just make sure it is legal paperwork, and you put legal on the outside of the
Yeah, you put
envelope.
legal mail.
Address it
Yep.
to the law library at their
Mhm.
unit.
Yes. Yes. And again, in order for them not to look into your mail, that's one way to get around it. But they even they figured that out too, to try to play that legal mail stuff so your mail can't get looked at. I'll do more detailed type podcasts on the legal mail and the original mail later down the road. I've already done a show on it, but evidently it didn't get out there like it should. But there is a difference between the two, and you need to understand what the difference is. Again, legal mail can't be looked at. It has to be opened up in front of the CO with the person's. The person has to have it in their hand, open it, and show the inside of the envelope, but they can't read it or look at it personally. They can just open it there in front of the CO, and that's it. That's all they get. They want to make sure there's no contraband in there. All right. So with that, I know there was something else I was going to tell you, and I just had a brain fart. Let's see. So no heat. It's an 8th Amendment violation. You can sue under that. But you got to make sure you can prove there was no heat. That's the other issue, folks. It's not as easy as it sounds. The thermostat, in some circumstances in our prisons, are not in viewing eyesight of the inmate. The thermostat, or the control box for the thermostat, is somewhere else where the DOC staff have control of it. So I need you guys to understand that if you want the heat turned up, this is how you do it. You walk up to the CO that's working that pod, and you politely and respectfully say, "Hey, excuse me, can you guys turn up the heat?" If the CO says, "No, sorry, it's set at a certain temp, we can't touch it, blah, blah, blah." Okay, thanks. So what you do, you got to look into that prison where you're at. Now, Texas, I'm sure they have their own protocols and procedures and whatnot, like any other state. All right, because every state's different. Not one state runs the same. Always know that the temp should be set at 65 to maybe close to 70. That might be pushing it a little bit, because there's always going to be one inmate complaining, "Oh, that's too hot." And then you got one complaining, "Oh, it's too cold." You can't keep the whole entire living unit happy. It's virtually impossible. Everybody lives on different living lifestyles. So that's going to be a daunting task. But you got to be able to have hardcore evidence to prove that the heat was not on, folks. So if you can obtain that, congratulations. You can make your lawsuit a lot more positive. But it's not a very easy task. And I hope this information I've shared with you guys tonight is helpful. Again, if you missed it, watch the replay. And of course, I hope
the email,
and then the emails. I'll do that here in just a second. And of course, the take notes if you need be. Now, there's one more thing that I want you guys to understand, because there's a correct way of going about that too tonight. Okay. And if you're going to get involved with emails or handwritten letters or phone calls per se, there's a certain way of going about that too as well. Number one, you cannot be disrespectful to these individuals on the other end of the line, or in an email, or in your handwritten letter. Here's why. I've seen people do this. You mother, every dang cuss word you can think of over the phone. What did you get on that? Click. They're not going to sit there and listen to your emotions and feelings and how you feel about DOC, even though I get it and I'm completely on your side with it. However, we cannot go in there acting like a bunch of fools. We're advocates. We got to be, I guess, in a sense, a lot more respectful and professional if we want anything done. Cussing out people ain't going to work. All right. So the emails are going to be looking like this. Let me get the share screen. And this is coming from my co-host, Tammy, who put this together. Again, Tammy, thank you so much for this information. I got it off of, hold on. Let me get the settings. I'll show you guys. Bear with me 1 second, please.
Probably was on Tanya's page, I believe, that I put it out there.
Yeah, most likely it probably was. But here it is, guys.
Texas, Voices of Texas Prisoners.
Right. Here it is. All right. So let me get that out of the way. All right. So this is what the email should look like. I hope you guys can see this. Let me get that out of the way. I hope you guys can see this on the screen. All right. It says when you, again, this is a template. This is an example. Of course, you can put your own spin and words to it, but as long as you guys keep it professional and respectful, we will end up getting a lot more done. All right. I understand feelings get in the way and it's hard to keep your emotions in check, but if you want, results, you got to be nice. You got to stoop to their level. Okay. So let's see here. This information is coming from, as you can see, co-host Tammy, and this is what she said. And I want to highlight all of this because she's spot on. Oops, spot on. So here it is, guys. Pay attention and take notes if need be. I need everybody to do these emails so we can get the pressure turned on. Okay, everyone. So let's get the emails going and requesting that these units provide basic human rights. Absolutely, that's what we're talking about tonight. 8th Amendment. Under the Constitution, below is a template. Feel free to send anonymously or edit as you see fit. But this will create a paper trail, absolutely, and help push the various units to get the units all up in. And this is the most current list of units and what areas have reported no heat. Here they are. Roach, that's a weird name for a living unit. Roach B and C pods. Delhart, G4 and 1 building C pod. Boyd 5 building has heat. So okay, so I'm gonna highlight that real quick. Has heat, as you can see there. Terrell, is that correct? Okay. Conley 12 building. Terrell. I'm sorry, my bad.
Delhart.
Yep, Conley.
It's okay. They're all weird names.
Yeah, Conley, I think I said that right. 12 building has AC on. That's good news to hear. Hopefully I won't have to hear it in the summertime. Building 8, no heat. So again, right here, guys, again, building 8, no heat. And again, Crane, is that how you spit the Crane? And then you got Caulfield, P2G Wing, what is this? Ferguson, Lane Murray, J2 AdSeg, Overflow. I'm going to go fast on this. Okay, so again, these units have heat, which is good news to hear. Estelle, some need blankets and mats. Look at this. Again, I'm going to highlight this, guys. This is ridiculous. Estelle, some need blankets and mats. They don't even have that. So they're sleeping on hard surfaces for crying out loud. All right, Clements Building, 11, transit, no power or heat. What the heck? Building 1728, no heat. Now, again, I'm not sure if this is old news or whatnot. I hope this is an update and they actually got it fixed. But anyways, Robertson has heat. That's good news there, guys. Smith whole unit. Let's see. Wayne Wright has heat. That's good news. Wow. Okay. But anyways, you guys can see here all of these things, and a lot of these things is ridiculous. So, but anyways, in order for your email to sound correct, professional, and respectful, this is how you're supposed to do it. And you need to put, again, what you're talking about here like this, and put your name. You don't technically have to put your full name, but you can put your name, whatever you want, your address, your city, state, zip code, email address, phone number. Again, you're calling if you want to do all of that. The date. And this is how it should sound. Again, you can reword it, put it in your own, your own saying, your own sentence. It doesn't have to be what you see here. This is just an example. Texas Department of Criminal Justice addresses, city, state, and zip code. Don't forget that. All right. The subject matter, as you guys can see here, and again, let me get this fixed so you guys can see it better. I do apologize on my computer, how it's acting up. The subject line right here, pay attention. Okay. Request to ensure proper heating for inmates in compliance with the humanitarian standards and constitutional rights, which I explained earlier. Okay. And then this is how you can say it. Of course, everybody else has different ways of saying this. I appreciate you guys in the chat. Just bear with me. The recipient's name or to whom it may concern. I like the idea of to whom it may concern. And this can go to everybody, not just one set individual, like the warden or maintenance or something along those lines. That's why we do CC. Multiple emails to everybody running that prison. There's a massive amount of staff in there. They all need one. They all need these emails, not just one set individual. I hope that helps. And again, this is all an example, guys, real quick. I'm writing to express my concerns. Notice the words here. Notice the professionalism. Notice the respect. No cuss words. I'm writing to express my concerns regarding the lack of inadequate heating in Texas Department of Criminal Justice, better known as TDCJ, facilities, and to advocate for immediate action. Again, immediate action. That's not a threat. That's, hey, we are aware of it. Take care of it now, pretty much. Okay, address the issue. Ensuring proper heating for inmates under your care is not only a matter of compliance with the constitutional obligations, absolutely, but also a reflection of our collective humanity and responsibility toward those in your custody, absolutely. And it goes on saying more. You guys want this template, get a hold of Tammy or me, and we'll send it to you. But again, reword it. It doesn't have to be like this, but reword it. And then at the end, sincerely, your full name and all that contact information. And again, be respectful. At the tail end, it says this. I urge, again, I'll read it real quick, guys. I hope I've helped. I urge the TDCJ to prioritize the installation, repair, and maintenance, because that's what it is if there's no heat. Of course, there's other issues of adequate heating systems across all facilities. Taking swift and decisive action will safeguard the health of inmates, reduce potential illegal liabilities, and reaffirm the commitment to uphold the fundamental rights of all individuals. Absolutely. Just because you're locked up doesn't mean you don't have any rights. You absolutely do. Please let me know how I might assist in furthering this cause, or if additional documentation or advocacy can support this matter. Thank you for your attention to this urgent issue. Sincerely, blah, 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 blah. I hope I've helped. Was there something you wanted to add with that, Tammy?
Annie had asked me how I came upon this information.
Okay, let me.
My best answer is honestly lots of research, lots of life experience, having a having a father that was a police officer and had his own PI firm, and learning. My dad taught me from very young and military upbringing, both parents being in. I learned manipulation in a legal way, and I do call it manipulation because you have to manipulate people in a positive way to get what you need. The end result is it's not about my true feelings, because as y'all know, I expressed, and I hope I did not hurt anybody's feelings or offend anybody. I have my own views on the legal system. I am not one to just sit back and tote the line. Oh, you say I got to do this? Well, my husband did it and y'all threw his crap away. So what do I do now? And he's put 4 others in and they've all gone and filed 13. When you keep filing grievance in a grievance system that doesn't work, that tells me we need a new grievance system.
Absolutely.
And I will push for that, like I will push for several other things.
Absolutely.
It's so damn sad to me that we have to go on TikTok, or we have to see it blasted across CNN or Fox News, and I'm not getting political. I'm being
I get it.
That we have to, in 2025, go on to a social media platform or turn on the news to see that a man was unalived because 13 corrupt officers, who are 4 of them are involved in litigation right now over doing the same crap.
Yeah.
And one nurse who is legally obligated to protect the welfare of all individuals in their care, that we have to catch them with their pants down, doing the most vile thing you can do to any other person is take their life. And I am sick and tired of this crap that we have to
Nikki.
follow like little soldiers, like we're in some kind of socialist country with a dictatorship.
Yeah.
That we have to follow their rules.
Yeah.
Listen, I am a free citizen in this country. And I am going to do everything the law allows me as a private citizen. I'm even, and I haven't told you this, Jay. I've been thinking about this a lot lately.
Okay.
You know how bad my heart condition has been, and you know I suffer from lupus
Right.
and
Oh, I
RA.
know.
I work a full-time
Mhm.
job, very stressful job at that.
Mhm.
And I am really considering to go get an attorney and file a suit against the toll that this system that is so broken, the things and the mental stress and health it's affected me for what they put
Yeah.
my husband through, like breaking his hand while he was in
Mhm.
shackles, and he was not doing anything but walking from the jail to a transport van.
Wow.
He was walking and he fell and they broke his.
Yeah.
I am over and sick and tired of saying, okay, well, that's just the way the system is. Let's just, oh, it's
No.
just the way it is. That's the
Yeah.
problem. We need to give pushback. I'm not trying to incite a riot. I'm not incite. If I incite a
No.
revolution, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I will go on whatever courthouse step, whatever Washington, D.C., whoever will let me sit down with them and listen. I am ready. I can
I
look,
don't.
and I'll tell you what, they put me in charge of the prisons. I could fix it. I could fix this. I promise you, I could fix the issues they're having. If there's
I agree.
drugs in the prison, it's
Mhm.
nobody's fault but the units. You know
I
why?
agree.
Because there's only one way in that place, and there's only one way out. And I don't care
I
if it's an inmate's loved ones taking it in or staff. They are allowing that crap in there. If they're contraband
absolutely.
cell phones, they're allowing it in. I don't want to
Ab-
hear their excuses anymore.
yeah.
I'm
No.
done. I
You're
am
you're
over it. Done. TKO. Done.
you're absolutely spot on and on fire, Tammy, on that. Absolutely. And I look at it like this: we can sit here like Tammy, and again, I mean this with all absolute 100% respect here.
Love you,
By the way.
Destiny. Sorry.
And I want everybody to know that this again. I respect people's feelings and opinions and facts, not just opinions. But again, the only way we're ever going to get any major change, and we can sit here and we can do what Tammy's doing, and really deep down in our soul show you how frustrated we are as a whole to put the facts and the truth when it comes to our prisons out there and show it, not just speak it, and nothing gets done. It's so frustrating knowing that we got how many people that live here in the United States itself alone that can't be, for just whatever the case may be, on the same page for a little bit and say, you know what, you're right, Tammy, or hey, you know what, you're right, Jay, or you're right, Orphan, or somebody like that, and say, I will do it just this once or whatever, and I will go with you and march and stand. And none of this has to be quote unquote political in a sense, even though we have political type bullcrap inside of our prisons. It all boils down to the same. Human rights are human rights, and that shouldn't be political. So what I'm getting at is that we need to put our differences aside, whatever you believe in, and stand with, say, for example, Tammy or me, Jay, or somebody along the line, and help us really get the word and message out there. Tammy, thank you so much for your information, what you just shared there. That takes a lot of guts to do that.
Oh, listen. I appreciate you, Jay. I just want people to understand, do not let them break you. We on the outside are the only thing our loved ones have to depend on. There have been nights, and Jay will tell you because he's been on the phone with me, where I've cried, I've broken down, it's hit
Me
every
too. Me too.
fiber of my being. There were nights that I called Jay coming back from the prison. I said, I don't know if he's going to ever come back to reality. I don't know if I'll ever have my husband back mentally.
Yeah.
Because they had him so overdosed. I had to get a psychiatrist in there, an outside psychiatrist. I raised so much hell. They had to bring one in from outside because they were going to take him to trial, and he couldn't even stand up. They had him so overdosed on medication. And guess what? The psychiatrist agreed and told the judge, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tammy, if you can see the chat, If you can see the chat, Tammy, this is all for you basically right now, and they're showing a lot of love and
Oh,
respect for you. Look at
well,
all
I
the.
love everybody out there, and I've taken phone calls of crying mothers within our group where their loved ones have been injured in there. That is unexcusable to me. And I heard a story here recently, and I know it's Friday night and we're going over. I'm sorry, Jay.
No, you're
I
good.
want to do this before Rick calls. There was somebody that had a loved one in there that did not, never had been to prison. They've been in there 10 years. They're getting a 10-year stint. And they got put in, they're not affiliated. And they got the crap beat out of them because they didn't want to be recruited to be in the TB, Tango Blast group. And they got beat so bad that their leg was broken, ribs.
I might make a t-shirt that says that statement, Texas Mom. Sorry, Tammy. Yeah, I like that. Be the voice, not an echo. I love that. Absolutely.
I loved it too. So this mother was writing about the situation, all these people, and I want to say a warning, shame on these people. Shame on you. You know who you are. I'm going to say it. So when somebody goes into your group, your advocacy groups, and it was not Tanya's, I'm going to make that very clear, or Ashleen's at all. It was another group. Shame on you, you advocates, to get out here and scare the hell out of people. Shame on you for promoting that they have to fight and they have to do this and they have to do that.
I don't believe in that.
What they have to do is be a damn human being. That's what they have to do.
Some are just for clout chasing, Tammy.
Yeah, and it's so sad. So this mother's in there pouring out her heart saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to reach out to. I don't know this and that. And there were some very loving people in there giving her support and helping her.
Mm-hmm.
But what really chipped my butt, really chipped me, was the people in there going, oh, he must owe somebody money for drugs, or he must.
It's not always the case. That's not always the case, guys.
He may have done that.
No, it's not always the case.
You know what? You know what? I don't give a shit if they owe everybody and their mother. You cannot sit in there and beat a person to damn near unaliving for any reason. It's inexcusable. Mm-hmm. I don't care anymore. I'm tired of the God, I'm probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. I'm tired of gangs running the prisons. Absolutely. I'm fed up with that crap. Stop it. That is somebody's son, daughter, mother, brother, sister. Stop. Be a human being. Stop being a vile piece of crap. Mm-hmm. And this mother needed support. She didn't need to be told what her son did or didn't do.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be a situation where they told him he was going to beat a black man. Mm-hmm. He refused to do it. He refused to do it, and they beat him. When he got to his next unit, Tango Blast beat this kid nearly to damn unaliving. You understand?
See, that's that prison politics stuff. And I'm not a big fan of it.
And why do we have to accept that? We don't. It needs to stop. We have to put a stop to it. If they want to act like a bunch of animals, put them in a couple units by them damn selves. Yeah. And let's get some military trained corrections.
Thank you, Gotti Girl. I understand. Sorry, I didn't realize it was going to go over either. But hey, it's all important information, the Gotti Girl. But thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. Hopefully see you next time. Have a great night. Go ahead, Tammy.
Yes, Cynthia, just like your son. Who protects them? Who is protecting them? Why do we not have units segged out for those type of people? If they want to stay affiliated, let them stay affiliated. Let them run their corruption in certain units by themselves. Right. Why are we keeping everybody in one melting pot when there's people in there trying to heal, trying to do better so that they can get out and live and be a functioning part of society?
Well, and that's the thing. If anybody doesn't know this, I'll say it again. I'm not trying to sound like a broken record, but again, prison politics is a real thing. But I think personally, we need to get rid of prison politics. There's no sense.
Correct.
Just like get rid of qualified immunity and so many other bullcrap things that's not necessary. Go ahead, Tammy.
And you know why they keep it is because the state is making money
Oh,
off of
absolutely.
that gang affiliation crap.
Everything's money.
Somebody's getting money under the table.
Everything's money. Bert said, you must voice what's right, what's wrong, and push for change because there is a lot of laws that are not doing the job. Absolutely. There are laws that are absolutely 100% unconstitutional. And if some of you may or may not know this, the current law that's in place right now that's been in law for 30 years plus, I believe it was. I think the law was invented in 1994, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, that's a Fourth and Eighth Amendment violation. It's currently happening to everybody that's on that damn thing. More on that later, even out here. But anyways, with that being said, Destiny said this: they let all the power go to their heads just because they wear a uniform. Absolutely happens all the time. You guys missed the show where that guy got beat while he was handcuffed and died. So it happens. It happens all the time in there. With that, Orphan Annie, that's Bert said it. Orphan Annie said, Bert, it's sad. Absolutely. Trying to get to your comments, guys. I may have missed a lot of your comments. If I missed your questions and whatnot, I do apologize. Running this thing here on my end, trying to get everything up on the screen is virtually impossible when there's a lot to digest and unbox, if you will. Shelley said, yes, military trained leaders. I like that idea. I know, Orphan Annie, absolutely. And then Bert said, what's that? What's that is I'm a patriot. Yes, we know. And they went looking just to pick up whoever they can pick up and charge people so I can say, hey, we're going out and protecting society. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Bert, my friend. I appreciate you. Yes, absolutely. And Orphan Annie said this. I don't care who you vote for. Nothing ever gets better. The world has gotten more corrupt, more evil, and more poverty in my lifetime alone. I agree, Orphan. Absolutely. 100%. No argument there. Yep. I see it. Texas Mom says this. Everyone, please check out the following Facebook pages. And then thank you, Texas Mom, for putting that out there. From Inside Out Network is on there. Also, Texas Cure is on there also. And also the TDCJ Troll site is on there, or pages. Go check them out. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
And I think it isn't Ashleen's the Texas Mom, the TDC. Yes.
Yes, that one too. And I think she runs a podcast, which I missed the live. I was in there. I got in there later.
Yeah, she does.
I need to get up on her show.
Yeah, and also she has somebody that's doing it with her.
I know.
That was incarcerated for 25 years.
They got a good show. They got a good show over there.
He is. He's very, very informative, and it gives you some insight into the mind of someone who was held up like that and what happens when you're put in solitary confinement, seg situations, affiliated status, becoming disaffiliated, all of it, Nabal, what his struggle was coming out. Something happened to him that I thought was just absolutely atrocious. So we can get into that on another time.
Yeah,
Maybe
like I said, I love to be up on their show. I like to meet
that. Come on this show too, back and forth.
Yeah, I love to be up on their podcast if they would like to invite me. Absolutely. I know they have a YouTube channel, I believe, and whatever else is going on with that. And I like to meet that guy. He sounds very knowledgeable, and I got respect for what they're doing.
Yeah. And we need more of that, guys. I mean, the more that we gather up together and push, you may not think, oh, I don't want to go up there in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Or, I don't want, come up with, do yourself an emoji, come up and talk. You don't have to tell your name. You don't have to, we don't have to be perfect on here. Let's just bring the humanity to everybody out in the free world needs to know the humanity behind prison.
And keep in mind,
and I think that's the biggest
thing. Absolutely, Tammy, spot on. And keep in mind, there are a lot of podcasts. I can't even tell you how many podcasts and prison content creators that are out there doing similar what we're doing here. Some, believe it or not, are doing it for all the wrong reasons. Basically, money chasing, cop chasing, you name it. They're doing it because they want the views, the clicks, the likes, the subs, the money at the end of the month. However, this podcast and the ones that we were just speaking about don't really do it for the popularity status. So that's why I'm on board with that. I'm not here for a popularity contest. I'm here for important information to be disseminated. So with that, I hope that, works out for everybody. And if you start a podcast, again, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen when it comes to this kind of stuff. But I'm here to help you if you want to start one and, make your voice be heard. Texas Mom said, at Ashleen, you're all down to come on. Awesome. So let me know when you want me. I'll be here. I'm available basically except for Wednesdays and Fridays. So let me know. We can always do a pre-recorded event or a live event. It don't matter to me. Just let me know. All right. Tammy, do you have any closing arguments before we bounce out of here?
Just guys, please. I know the system can be intimidating. I know the stress of having to go to sleep at night and try to go to sleep at night. I do it every night, wondering, is he okay or is she okay? And did I do enough today for them? Is there more I need to do? How do I figure out the money in it all? How do I, am I supporting them enough emotionally? All of it. Well, there's mine calling, and I'm sorry. I love you all. You all have a good
Okay.
night.
You take care, Tammy. Blessings to you, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Good night. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, that's going to cut it for this podcast tonight. Again, I really hope you guys enjoyed the information tonight. Again, to recap real quick, if you don't know what you're doing when it comes to a possible litigation case, find somebody that knows how. Keep in mind, if there's no heat going on inside your prison, that's an Eighth Amendment violation, Eighth Amendment right violation. I'll get it out right. And you can file a lawsuit on that. Again, everything, absolutely everything, constitutes a lawsuit if you know what you're doing. Find a jailhouse lawyer or a legal beagle to get that taken care of, or hire yourself a litigation attorney on the outs or civil rights attorney on the outs. And usually they'll take the case without any money up front. They get paid after the case is over. Always remember that. All right. With that being said, I see you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. I've been obviously here over my time, but again, all information like this is important, so there really is no time limit on that. I hope you guys appreciate it and respect it nonetheless. Anyways, with that being said, you guys all have a great weekend. I'll see you guys again this coming Wednesday for our roundtable discussion right here in our studios from Inside Out. With that, I'm your host, Jay. You guys take care. Good night, everybody. Peace.